Now Ohio State stuck in. We have 2 Big Ten teams in the college football playoffs. We have 3 different opportunities now to take out the SEC. I know that's like an anti-SEC, but also pro-Big Ten. So I don't know which one. At the end of the day, as long as the SEC doesn't win, I will be happy if Michigan wins. But to me, as long as the SEC doesn't win, I think that is what we need to have.
What if Ohio State wins?
Well, hang on. So if Ohio State wins, then that means Ohio State beat Georgia. I'm throwing a fucking party. If Michigan when Michigan beats TCU, and if Ohio State were to beat Georgia, that is the greatest scenario that can happen.
The greatest scenario.
You go to the national championship, I'm rocking blue. Like, I'm for the boys. I'm for the Michigan boys at that point. If Ohio State ends up winning, it's like, fuck. But me, there's so much not of a dog in the fight that it's like, fuck, man, I feel bad for the boys of Michigan because they waxed them in the regular season, and they kind of slept on them. If that was the case, they would sleep on them that would be fun, dude. If the greatest rivalry in all of sports historically,
we needed him to say that,
gets to face off in the national championship just a month out from Michigan beating that ass, more so in the fourth quarter. However, that would be iconic, dude.
It really would be. And listen, if Ohio State can beat Georgia, which I'm praying to the high heavens that Ohio State can beat Georgia, that's incredible. I do think Michigan's go in. They're going to take care. For
what reason? Why do you want Ohio State to beat Georgia?
Because then the Big Ten's won.
The Big Ten has won.
And I think if we're looking at the Big... Now, let me just say this. I said in the last podcast, we need everybody behind Michigan. We need everybody behind Michigan for the national championship. That goes for everybody in the Big Ten. Now I need to practice what I preach. Let's say in a horrible case scenario, TCU beats Michigan and Ohio State beats Georgia. I'm scarlet and gray. And that is because it's bigger than myself. It's bigger than myself. It's about the Big Ten taking over the national championship, the national NCAA landscape, and being the best conference in the whole entire country. I hated saying that. Hey, and I know there's a lot of people that are upset about that.
Yeah, like that's perfect. That's a perfect little small clip just to have, because you might get a little drugged by that. All because
make sure that's in the clip too.
all because like you don't have to say that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying...
You don't even have to preface it. Like, you can say, I'm rooting for Ohio State over Georgia, and then be fine with it because you want Big Ten to win. Like, you'll wear the scarlet and gray against Georgia. But to just completely assume that TCU will get Michigan if Ohio State wins...
I know, I literally said in the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. I think both of us have already said the best case scenario is an Ohio State-Michigan national championship.
The reason both doesn't play is I'm not either one of these massive rivalries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on the coattails. Like,
yeah, but if let's switch out Michigan for Nebraska.
You're not on the coattails. I'm
driving this bus.
You're number 2 team in the country.
Yes.
Saying if in the worst case scenario we lose and then Ohio State wins, I will root for Ohio State
for the greater good of the Big Ten.
You didn't have to say that.
I know I didn't have to say nothing, but if this is me, hopefully Big Ev.
People watching Ohio State fans
understand.
Alike, Mitch.
Yeah, and I hope you guys understand. Like, I understand that this is bigger than me. This is bigger than the grand scheme is to get the Big Ten to the top. I believe Michigan's going to be the team to do that. I, in my heart of hearts, think they're going to donkey stomp TCU. Max Duggar, heart and soul. Duggan. Heart and soul of that Horned Frogs team.
Yeah.
Heart and soul. And his press conference, the ginger hair with the rose cheeks as he's crying a little bit, melted my heart.
Yeah.
And I really hope he has a lot of success. Not in this next game. But I think Michigan's going to handle that business. And I'm really just praying. I really just don't want to see Georgia again, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day does have the yips against Michigan right now. I think that's an easy dub.
Could. I mean, he's what? Oh, he's 0-2?
He's 1-2. 1-2. The last head coach at Ohio State, Coach Cooper, and he went 1-10-1 against Michigan.
1-10-1?
Yep.
I mean, 1-2, I don't know if you can say that's the yips yet.
That was his record in 89. When he became the head coach. I know that. And I think it's ridiculous, too, that people are calling for Ryan Day's head going 11-1.
Oh, yeah. People are...
He's lost 5 games. That's crazy. Yes, it happens to be against Michigan, and that is not okay. Yeah. And there's a couple of people clamoring about wanting Mike Vrabel up in Columbus.
That is a rumor going around.
There is a rumor going around. And if Mike Vrabel becomes the head coach of Ohio State, I'm scared for the boys in blue. He would do a great job.
He'd run that college football landscape.
He would.
Nebraska is in that conference now. In due time, boys. Lay low, stay low until you come up.
Yeah, but that's
all we're doing right now.
As far as
stay down until you come up. Thanks, JP.
As far as the college football playoff goes, public enemy number 1 is Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel? Because JP, like, how do you
you're
guys
South
feel?
Carolina boy.
Being fans of the SEC, how do you guys feel hearing all of the, we need the Big Ten to win, we root for all each other's schools? Like, I just want to hear what your guys' perspective, because I see them all out there, and I would like to take a head on and address it as well as I can.
I just think it sounds corny, especially like Michigan and Ohio State. I can't imagine any SEC. It's like if Auburn was playing in the national championship, Alabama fans are not going to be like, we got to ride with Auburn. It's just like, it's just different in the SEC, and it's just kind of, you guys are sounding like little kids.
You guys, hang on now.
Cheering for it.
You did co-sign with me.
Yeah. We'll let Garrett go.
That was like directly at me, but you are with me. You know?
Well, yeah, I'm with you because I'm on coattails. There's more damage that could be done to you.
Yeah.
With the Michigan Ohio State thing than there can be done to me. Like, everybody knows. Like, look at fucking Will again. Just finding a win wherever you can get a win.
Wherever. Buddy, you're gonna live forever. You're gonna live forever. What do you feel?
I want to know why you don't want to play Georgia if you want to claim dominance.
Ooh. National championship claims dominance. That's just
for sure.
They don't ask how, they ask how many. And I'm just saying,
that's fine.
The path of least resistance is without
scared.
Georgia in it.
I think you just sound scared.
Listen, I'm not playing the game.
He already said, I'm scared of Georgia. He said he's scared of Georgia.
I am personally, I'm like, damn, them boys kind of rock. Now, Georgia's not as good as they were last year, and Michigan's better than they were last year.
Right, so that's the revenge.
So I think that evens out the scale, but I think from a talent standpoint, I said this about Ohio State. I think Ohio State technically has more talent in Columbus than they do in Ann Arbor, but coaching.
So you wouldn't want to like get back at them? You would want like the easy way around it?
I think a national championship's going to feel great no matter what. It's going to feel great no matter what.
Go Horned Frogs.
That's a
buddy, that is a sheep fucking move, dude.
Hey, hang on. You just said you want to pass the least resistance.
Yeah.
You just said that, and then you just said sheep?
Yeah. I fucking did. Listen, the Horned Frogs will get beat. I believe that in my heart. And whatever I don't know what the spread's going to be, but they probably cover that too. I
personally would not mind seeing that matchup again. Georgia, Michigan, because you do get to like get back.
They are the two best teams in the final.
The boys tucked their tail and ran. Like, even though you get another, they did. They
weren't aware.
They about last year in the college.
They just weren't ready. I don't know if they tucked their tail and ran. They just weren't ready.
They ended up just taking a beating. Like they had to sit there and watch as they just got thrusted on top of. They had to watch. Like, no, you can't run. You got to sit here and take this. Like, that's what happened last year.
That's football. Like, you can't just leave. You can't go like in the third and go, "Hey, boys, we're just done here." You got to take it. They took it. I understand that. But what did we talk to with Herbie?
I know, but that right there, that loss, that sticks with you. That's what motivates you the entire offseason to get back where you are. And now you got a potential shot. Either one is going to be good for Michigan. But again, you beat Ohio State by 30 or however 20 something, whatever it was. You mopped them, dude. If you could get Georgia again, bro, and right that wrong from last year, like, you got to be salivating a little bit. I think if you're one of the boys, now I understand your perspective. But I'm talking about if you're the boys, like if you're in those four walls, you're almost like, you still want Georgia to win because you're like, we got to come correct. Like, we got to see them again.
I agree with what you're saying, but you're looking at it from like you're playing in the game standpoint. I'm looking at it from the outside looking in as a fan. As a fan, I'm like, what is the easiest way for Michigan to win this game for the least amount of stress on the fan watching? Yeah. And if I see Scarlet and Gray versus the Maize and Blue in the national championship, to me, I'm feeling real comfortable because I believe Ryan Day's got the yips. I think they figured out the formula to beat Ohio State. I really do. And I know that's like, all right, we know the game plan there. Georgia's got a hell of a lot of talent. They ragdolled Tennessee. They've been ragdolling everybody except for Missouri. No, you're not catching shit. I'm just saying, like, they've gone against a harder schedule and have done very well with that schedule.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, let's just get this natty. Like, what'd Shane Gillis say? They haven't won anything since Hitler was alive.
They've won a half a national title since Hitler was alive.
Yeah, and trust me, Shane texted me like during the Ohio State games talking shit. Texted me yesterday about how Philly's beating the shit out of the Titans. Like I've been getting ragdolled by Shane for like a couple of weeks, and I'm like, This is just, it's just, I don't know why he's so about Notre Dame either. He went to West Point or whatever the fuck he went to. Shout out the troops. I absolutely love the troops, but we're talking about football right now.
Yeah.
You know?
He loves ball.
He loves ball.
He loves college ball, too.
He loves ball.
But to answer your question, JP, well, not to answer your question, to answer your statement on it's corny, that you guys root for the big picture. He said corny. The big picture of the entire thing.
Tell
like
him.
This is what I was trying to explain to Big Ev, too. Like, do you want to feel like your ass whooping from Michigan was at least respected? Because if Michigan goes in there and gets embarrassed in the college football playoff again, our conference looks just hella weak, dude. Like, Ohio State, we look weak, and you just got dusted by Michigan. Like, you have zero respect. You can't hang your hat on nothing. The way the SEC has dominated the college football landscape, there's so many rivalries. Like, you get to say SEC football's different because they've created it to be such a thing. Alabama almost got in by just saying, hey, we're Alabama. Like, you guys need a
Yeah, Nick Saban was out there doing that shit.
Like, he's just going on a media tour. Like, they almost got in just because they were Alabama. Like, that's respect to the SEC. For us to have any type of validation or for us to have any type of competition with the SEC or to be in that national, like, just, hey, the Big Ten is the best conference, you have to win a national title. Like, you got to get the college trophy in the Big Ten championship.
It's a long game.
To do that, you're going to have to back the team that represents the Big Ten. Now that there's two in there, the entirety of the Big Ten should be rooting for Ohio State and Michigan, all until we get the trophy in. Once you can create that a little bit and start to have momentum and winning, then you can start to say, fuck everybody else. Because I'm sitting there thinking, like, damn, like, I think I would root for Iowa, but I would be, like, that would suck if Wisconsin, haunt my nightmares forever, or I was in the Natty trying to win. But I would want them to win because if I get beat, I want whoever I'm getting beat by to be the fucking best. So that way, at least you can be like, well, I lost to the fucking best player, the best talent. And until we get that Big Ten, until we get that Natty in the Big Ten, it's not going to be that way. So for us to get it, we need fucking everybody. We need continuity. We need unity. All the Big Ten repping the Big Ten schools to bring the Natty. It's just like, hey, Game of Thrones, boys. JB, you haven't watched Game of Thrones. Who's the enemy in Game of Thrones? At first, they're all enemies. They're all fighting over the throne. They're all fighting for that kingdom, that chair, that seat. We're going to be the fucking king. But there's an enemy, the White Walkers. The White Walkers are the SEC. That's a tip of the cap to you guys. That's fucking respect. You guys are the White Walkers. What did the Seven Kingdoms have to do to defeat the White Walkers? They all had to stop all their dumb bitch-ass bickering rivalries that they got going, their little agendas and plots of chess. They had to put their swords down. They had to come together to defeat a common enemy. What's the quote?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes. And that is what we are facing right now as a Big Ten conference. The White Walkers, the SEC is the enemy. We got to get them out. We got to bring a national title home to the Big Ten championship.
Once that comes into the Big Ten, then we can now go back to our respective spots, start playing chess, and then go at it. You guys have the luxury. We'll say you guys have the luxury of hating each other because the SEC conference is that good. The SEC wins national championships all the time. Big Ten gets it.
Auburn, Alabama, they both have national titles within the last, like, 2 decades. Fucking South Carolina ended this year, like, there's articles written, oh, they're the sneaky best team by the end of the year. Tennessee's back in it. Like, everybody in the SEC, besides, like, Vanderbilt and fucking Mizzou and shit, no disrespect to the boys, and A&M, they're not really, they're sort of, but everybody else, like, they got, like, a fucking shot.
They got a shot.
We don't. We have, like, we have a few teams, and we need those few teams to be the fucking top. The top, because when Michigan gets the national title this year, mark your calendars, boys, September 30th next year, like, we will be going after the national champions. And that's where rivalries become greater.